Good morning, students. So, today we are going to start a new chapter from your civics book, that is, chapter number 3. Why do we need a parliament? So, if we talk about the introduction of the chapter, starting with the heading of the chapter only, the heading is Why do we need a parliament? First of all, you should know what is a parliament. Parliament is a law-making body of the country which helps in the smooth functioning of the country. Okay, and parliament, what comprises of the parliament? What is parliament made up of? Parliament is made up of members of the parliament. Now, who are these members of the parliament and how are they elected? So, all this we are going to study in this chapter. So, the members of the parliament are elected, are the representatives who are elected by us, the common people. Okay, so through elections, we are sending our representatives to the parliament who becomes the members of the parliament. We will study this in detail in the next slides. So it shows the idea of people's participation in decision making. So what does this parliament express? Parliament expresses people's notions. Notions means ideas, because we are the ultimate uh, persons who are electing the people of the parliament. We are forming the government, like we have democratic government, so means the government of the people, for the people and by the people. So it shows the idea of people's participation. People's participation, it doesn't mean that we are going and participating in the parliament, but we are sending our representatives to the parliament as members of the parliament, and they are participating on our behalf. So they are participating on our behalf. That shows that parliament expresses the idea of people's participation. So if they are participating, they are elected by us, so that means we are participating ultimately in the decision making process, and that is the spirit of the democracy. Spirit of the democracy means, that is the quality of the democracy, means the government of the people, for the people and by the people. That parliament is a organization which expresses our notions and ideas, and through that we participate in the decision making process of the country. So now what are we going to study in this chapter? So it is really an interesting chapter. You will come to know that how the central government works, what it comprises of: parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, who are the people in the parliament, how are they elected, how a prime minister is elected. So all these processes we will be studying in details in this chapter. So for today I will be taking the role of people, representatives of the people, and the people in the parliament. I'm leaving one portion today, that is the role of the parliament. Okay, role of the parliament we will study in the next lecture. So today we are going to study only three topics, that is role of people and their participation. Why should they decide? Why should we decide? Why should people decide in the forming of the government? Then representatives of the people, who are representatives and how they are formed, and then who are the people in the parliament. So these three topics we are going to study today. First topic we are going to study is why should people decide? Means why people should be empowered, why people should decide that what kind of government should come, and why they should decide, from where this idea came. Okay, so India, and you know about Indian national movement, okay, the freedom struggle, and in that nationalists, were there, freedom fighters were there, and they were there and they cherished the ideas. Which ideas they cherish? They thought that learning from the past experiences and inspirations with the ideas such as freedom, equality, and participation in decision making. So, from where these ideas came, you know that long before India was under the British rule and the East India Company came and they ruled India for a long period of time. So, at that time, also, the people of India, they were not given freedom, they were not given equality, and they were not allowed to participate in decision making. So from there only, means we have seen that situation of that time. We got independence in 1947 and the first revolt was started in 1857. So the first revolt started in 1857 and we got independence in 1947, means 90 years of struggle. We have struggled for 90 years. India has struggled for 90 years to get complete independence, and in that 90 years the people have learned so many things, so many ideas. So many ideas evolved in their minds, that what does freedom means, what does equality mean, and they should also participate in the decision making. So that during the time of Indian national movement, continuously nationalists, freedom fighters, they learned from the experiences and inspirations with the ideas such as freedom. They used to see that the British people were free to move anywhere, so they were having freedom that time. Equality, they were having equality, means in between their community they all were equal with each other. And participation in decision making, they were only participating in the decision making of the country, though the country belonged to them, but they were not allowed to roam freely, they were not given equality, and they were not allowed to participate in decision making. So when somebody is restricted from these things, that person knows the value of that ideas like freedom, equality, and participation in decision making. So these ideas were really important, and we experienced these ideas when India was under the British rule. So that time the India has faced hard times, and they have seen that harsh situations, and from that these ideas emerged. Okay, and after that Indian National Congress demanded for the elected members in the legislature far back in 1885. So you know about Indian National Congress, that today the party which is known as Congress. Okay, so that is their roots are far behind, far back in 1885. So in 1885 this Indian National Congress has been formed, and that time they had demanded for the elected members in the legislature means the lawmaking body. So lawmaking body, so they demanded that in the legislature, in the lawmaking bodies, the members should be elected. The members should not be directly important. What these British people were doing, they were bringing the people from their country and they were just appointing the peoples on the higher post for making the laws in the legislature. But some Indians were there and they demanded for the elected members, that the legislature should be formed by the elected members. The members should be elected by the people. And they demanded in 1885, they started demanding this right. And in 1909, Government of India Act came. So you know that British people, they used to introduce new policies and laws time and again. So this was also one of the act which was introduced by the British people only. But in this act, some elected representation was allowed. Okay, so after having the struggle for this demand for this voting right, which started from 1885, so in 1909 some elected representation was allowed. So Government of India Act came in 1909. In this act, some elected representation, means still That time also not all the people were given the voting rights, only some people were given the voting rights, like maybe some student union leader is there, any trade union leader is there, so only some special leader persons were given the voting rights, not all. And after that, but after independence, we got independence in 1947. So after independence, there was no doubt left on the issue of giving voting to all. No doubt left means, so after independence, when the British left India, so totally Indian government came, and then that time there was no issue, means no doubt was left, means all the people were given the rights to vote. And independent India should show the aspirations of freedom struggle. So this is all answering that why should people decide. So independent India should show the aspirations of freedom struggle. Aspirations means the thoughts, the ideas which we learned from the freedom struggle. So independent India should show the aspirations of freedom struggle, the ideas which we cherished during that time, which we wanted to have. We wanted to have freedom, equality, participation in the decision making. So during the freedom struggle, we wanted these things very badly, and at the time of independent India, after getting the right to vote, so these aspirations were shown in the independent India, the aspirations of freedom struggle. And lastly came universal adult franchisee. Franchisee means the right to vote. So universal means everybody, all, means the people who are 18 years or above, from any community, any race, any caste, they were allowed to vote. And still it is there that those who are 18 years or above, they are allowed to vote irrespective of any caste or creed or religion. So again, I'm overviewing why should people decide, because we have learned from the past experiences ideas such as freedom, equality, and participation in decision making. And it was demanded far back at the time of Indian National Congress that in the legislature there should be elected membership, and we got some elected representation during the time of Government of India Act in 1909. But after independence, we got everybody got the right to vote, and independent India should show the aspirations of freedom struggle. And finally, we got the universal adult franchisee. Now that we have read that why should people decide, so that's fine, we agree that people should decide what kind of government should come and all, but how do they decide, and who are the people whom they send to the parliament? So see, it is not possible for all of the Indian population to go to the parliament now. So you can imagine what the situation will be if all the people of India will go to Delhi to participate in the parliament. So that is not possible at the practical front. So that's why we choose representatives, people and their representatives. So we are the people, and we elect the representatives from our areas or our cities, and then that representatives go to the parliament. So like this, from all over India, you know that in the Lok Sabha we have total of 545 seats, okay, and out of that, two are already they are nominated by the president, and we are left with 543. So from pan India, 543 constituencies, 543 members of parliament are sent to the parliament from different sections of the society, from different areas of the country. So we believe that people are supreme in democracy. Why people are supreme? Because it is the people who are deciding what kind of government will come, and we are the people who will decide who has the right to vote. So we are supreme in democracy, you can say that. And in a democracy, the government as well as other public institutions need to have the trust of citizens. Very important. So just see the example that if any government is there and they are working properly, and the results can be seen to the citizens of the country. So that means they are gaining the trust of citizens, and citizens would be happy to choose them again. But if the government is not working properly and nothing, no improvement can be seen, so the citizens will stop having the trust in that kind of government. So that will lead to lose of interest. So in a democracy, the government as well as other public institutions need to have the trust of citizens, because we are the people, we are supreme in the democracy. So the government which is coming, which is forming, they need to have our trust. So trust of citizens is very important in forming the government. So you can say that people is equal to government, because we are electing, we are forming the government, and without people, if no people is there, then no government is there. So people is directly proportional to government. But how does the individual give approval to the government? Now the question comes, fine, we agree that people form the government, and people, fine, we agree that people are directly proportional to the government. So but question arises that how does the people, how does individual give approval to the government? How do we give approval to the government? It is not possible for all of us to go to the parliament and sit over there and participate in the decision making. Do you think it is possible? No, not at all. So we are participating, we are giving approval to the government through elections. Okay, so the people, they are casting their vote, they are taking part in the elections. So through elections they are giving approval to the government, and after elections people elect their representatives in the parliament. So see, if from any area, and suppose from India, people are voting and they are electing their representatives. So now those one group out of the representatives forms the government, that is the majority party. For example, from all over India, that 14 representatives are from the BJP and 8 are from the Congress. So which is the majority party? Obviously BJP with 14 numbers, that is the highest number. So they are the majority party. So that group will form the government. Okay, so in this we have studied that people are supreme in democracy, and the government should have the trust of citizens. People are directly proportional to government. If no people are there, then no government is there. And individual, they give approval to the government through elections. People elect their representatives, and that representatives becomes the member of the parliament and go and sit in the parliament and decide the laws for the country. And one group out of the representatives forms the government, that is the majority party who wins, they form the government. Elections are very important important activity of the country. So in this photo shows election staff using an elephant to carry polling material and EVMs, I hope you know, electronic voter machines, to polling stations located in difficult terrain. So this is a tedious process. It is not an easy process to go to the areas where no that conveyance is there, no transport is there, but elections has to be taken place there also. So they use whatever medium they can use, and here you can see they are using the elephant to go to the difficult terrains areas. I fear this person doesn't fall down. So okay, so these all kind of difficulties used to come over there where elections has to be taken place. But nevertheless, the process has to go on, and the people of India, they are hardworking and they reach the people that areas and complete the election process. Now the last topic of today's lecture is, who are the people in the parliament? So we studied about parliament, that parliament is the lawmaking body. Now we are electing the representatives also, and they are going to the parliament. Now the representatives which we whom we are electing, who are these people? So parliament represent the nation. What do you understand by this? Parliament represent the nation means our country. So if anybody see the parliament of any country, he or she should have the idea of how the country is. Represent the nation means it is representing the culture of the country, the traditions of the country, the people of the country, because the representatives, the members of the parliament who are the representatives, they are coming from the different sections and from the different areas of the country. So they are representing their cultures, their traditions, so that you can say that parliament represent the nation, parliament represent the country, and parliament from various background participate in the parliament. So people, here parliament is not there, people from various background participate in the parliament, either they are from rural areas or regional parties are there. So people from different backgrounds participate in the parliament. And there has been increase in political participation from Dalit and backward classes. So these are the backward classes which were not given rights to vote first, but now as everyone has the right to vote, and there are reservation in the parliament also for some weaker sections of the society. Okay, like Dalits are there, backward classes are there, so there has been increase in the political participation from Dalit and backward classes to ensure that communities that have been historically marginalized are given adequate representation. So why are they participating now? Because there has to be adequate representation from all the sections of the society. Earlier these communities, they were historically marginalized. Marginalized means they were kept aside, they were not allowed to participate in these kind of activities, but now they are also participating in the parliament and giving their ideas. So reservation of seats in parliament for SCs and STs also. So there is some reservation of seats in the parliament for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Similarly, so now we saw that there are people from the different sections of the society, from the backward classes also, but there is one more important part of the society which has to be in the parliament, that is the women. Women is equally important in building up the developed society. So similarly, there has been demand for the reservation of seats for women also. So earlier only 10 to 12% reservation was there for the women. Still it is not so much as equal to the men. So why they should get reservation? Because due to very low representation of women MPs in parliament. So still there is very low representation of women MPs in parliament, and to make parliament truly representative means if all the sections of the society are participating equally in the parliament, from the men section, from the women section, from the lower section, then only we can say that parliament is truly representative. Okay, so here you can see that in the Lok Sabha total seats are 543, and out of that 412 are for general category, 84 are for scheduled caste, 47 are for scheduled tribes. So you can see the areas which are shaded with this light pink, or you can say which color is this, I don't know. So general 412 seats, so more number for general areas, then this blue part for scheduled caste. So you can see in between wherever this scheduled caste areas are there, so it is important that from that areas only the people from scheduled caste only can stand up for the elections, and in the green part is for the scheduled tribal areas, and from that part the people, only those who are from scheduled tribes can stand up for the elections. So this is how you see that who are the people in the parliament. From the different sections of the society, people participate in the parliament, and they have some percent of reservation also in the parliament. Okay, so for today only this much. We have covered that why should people decide in the parliament, and we came to know about the people and the representatives. We came to know about who are the people in the parliament. So only three small topics we covered today, and now it is the time to do the assignment. So do it nicely. It is very easy. Simple concepts are there. Do your work regularly and properly. So now, as for now, goodbye, and role of parliament we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you.